Yo guys, today I'm going to be talking about the place of the gay male in modern society. There's this illusion of acceptance surrounding the modern gay male, but if you look closer, there's not really that much acceptance. It's more tokenization than anything. And with Heated Rivalry and Challengers blowing up recently, this has never been more relevant. So let's get into it. Alright, first of all, if you want to understand the place of the gay male, you first need to understand how our culture views masculinity. We as a culture love talking about reshaping masculinity. Go on Instagram or Twitter and within 5 minutes you'll see like 30 posts about toxic masculinity. But at the end of the day, this is mostly talk and very little walk. The needle hasn't moved that much over the past 20 years, and our conceptions of masculinity are still pretty rigid. If you need evidence of this, just look at the things people say. The same people that post toxic masculinity infographics on their stories also be reposting shit about how men used to go to war. There are people who are trying to deconstruct this, but at the end of the day, the vision of masculinity that our culture celebrates is still very narrow. Now, in a world with such a narrow view of masculinity, where is the place for gay men? Because most of them don't fit into this box, right? Well, a place has been carved out for them, but it's not a very good place. It seems like the dominant culture only accepts gay men as a token. The overwhelming representation of gay men in popular culture is as this demeaning stereotype of the gay best friend. It's always this secondary role that's an accessory to the more important people, and also just a different version of the same character. As a result, the media conditions us to only accept gay men in this particular stereotype, and I imagine a lot of gay men today probably play into this stereotype because it's the only way they can feel accepted. But what about gay men who don't play into this stereotype? Because they don't really fit into the traditional masculinity box or the gay stereotype box. So what? Well, there's just not really a place for them. Our culture just isn't that accepting of queer masculinity unless it's in that stereotypical form. And this necessitates a way for these men to explore their sexuality safely, without immediately getting labeled and boxed in. A way to peek behind the curtain instead of coming out of the closet. Historically, a major way to do this has been sports movies. I mean, think of Top Gun, Rocky 3. They all have this obsession with the male body. Training scenes that in any other context would be considered homoerotic, locker room scenes with frequent nudity, an obsession with a male rival and what his body can do, a female love interest who isn't really that important compared to the male rival. Take all of this together, this stuff is like an excuse to explore homoeroticism in a socially acceptable, straight-passing way. And for men who don't want to be boxed into a label, these movies serve a very important social function. But modern culture has no respect for this. People want everything to be black and white, so they take the distance between the two men in these movies, which allows for the safe exploration of homoeroticism, and they compress it. The most obvious recent example of this is Heated Rivalry. It takes all the components of a subtly homoerotic sports movie and then yanks open the curtain. It also takes all the stuff I talked about in this video, about gay men who aren't fully accepted by the dominant culture, and then fetishizes it for the enjoyment of cis women. Challengers kinda does the same thing. I find it all very degrading. It's turning a safe space into a spectacle. This is all reflective of a broader attitude our culture has towards sexuality. We want everyone's sexuality to be thrust into the spotlight for our own enjoyment, even though it can be an incredibly sensitive thing and often needs time to develop. Think about how giddy people get when they think a celebrity is getting outed for being gay, or when the same thing happens to somebody in their own life. And this is just what I've observed from the outside looking in among my gay friends and shit. It seems like if you're a gay man, your sexuality only has value as a means of enjoyment for the masses, and the dominant culture only accepts you if you fit into a pre-built box. That must be an incredible burden. But yeah guys, that's it. I hope you liked the video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments. Peace.